Okay, so bad news, good and bad news, good news, and then bad news. Don't take it too seriously though. So the first bad news is this morning I woke up and my hands were quite a lot worse. The left hand for sure. This is my right hand. The left hand I could barely close more than this without pain, and the swelling was quite a lot worse. So I decided to go to emergency at the hospital, of course. And the good and bad news is that the good part of the good and bad is that it was pretty fast generally. It took about an hour. I went in at like 3 p.m. It took about an hour to get called the first time to the second waiting room. Um, and then from there, it took about 2 hours to get a room to wait for a doctor, and from there, it took an hour to get a doctor. That was pretty fast, all things considered. So that's the good and bad news. The bad part of that is that it still took like 4 fucking hours, 5 hours, four. Well, yeah, I got out of there like after 5 hours. So not really amazing, but anyway, still could have been worse. The good news is it's basically just lymphedema, which basically just means it is just swelling from like potentially constriction, or I think like fluid retention or something. I don't know. It's not that serious is the point. So it's not that bad, which is a good thing. The annoying thing is, just as I suspected, it was basically, yeah, we can't really do anything. Here's some tips to help, and bye. The bad news is all of my wristbands. Well, this one's been off for a while, but all the wristbands and armbands and everything had to be taken off. And a lot of them were kind of permanent. So they had to be cut off, and they're now destroyed. And I can't wear them basically anymore. Because the doctor said any sort of constriction is not good for this kind of thing. And even though they weren't constrictive, because they could move around my wrists, my arms, and everything, they weren't constrictive. They weren't tight. I made very sure to put them on in such a way that they weren't going to be tight and constrictive, because I had the numbness in my hand from carpal tunnel, and I didn't want to have more numbness from that. So yeah, but whatever. Basically, I can't wear those anymore, and they had to be destroyed. So I'm sad over that, and it's not that big of a deal, but it makes me sad. That's it. But anyway, it's not too horrible. There was, I think this hand is already looking a little bit better. You can kind of see the definition of the knuckles now. But at some point today, a couple of times, these three fingers had actually like turned purple, or they were turning purple. They were very purplish. So that's obviously not very good. But yeah, I can make a fist. And this is a bad hand. However, I was starting to be able to make a fist before the wristbands got removed. So it was probably already kind of getting better. Yeah, that's the update on that. Bye, God bless, love you.